be some crazy burst that Furia needs to be careful around. So the early game definitely going to be spicy, but for now we'll jump onto the Rift. Welcome to CBLOL Sunday. It's Furia versus Kabum.
Sure is Furia versus Kabum here. Not too many games on the champions here for these players. Just the one game of Renekton for FMB so far this split, and that was a victory for him. So it'll be another opportunity to get a 2 in that column for him here. Into Lonely's Jace, I like his odds. That seems like a pretty solid lane. We talked about the Elise combination. That's incredible for him. The lockup that the Elise brings to that 2v2. It's really nice. So,
I love that we get the games played on the champions here, as you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Basically, all 10 players on a champion, they've not played more than once this split.
Yep. Yeah, I wish we had more games in the format. I think that would be really, really good for the league. Even if we just did best of twos, right? We'd have played double the number of games and get more stage presence and stuff. We would have to sit here casting until like 6 p.m. for me. I don't know what it would be for you, Lithy, but so that might be a lot, but you know, I would do it for CBLOL, man. That'd be really cool.
I mean, we have some fun with the games here, so can't really complain about anything, right? One way or another. Lanes are starting. You can already see Envy. Envy's telling Yuri to go home. And this is the power of the Tristana mid lane. This is going to continue on for quite a bit, especially with the Azir chunked out so early. But we got to keep an eye on the junglers as well, right? Scary on the Elise, Sin, Good on the Elise. This is going to be some very, very fast, heavy-hitting early impact. And as you already mentioned, right, especially top lane with FNB on the Renekton might be a good address for Furia to go for.
Certainly could be here. Looking for the follow-up gank onto Yuri here in just a little bit. Still has his flash, so is not the easiest gank, but yeah, I mean, Envy does so much damage here in the early game. At least just has to land the one cocoon, and you got him locked up and can potentially burn the flash. Could even go for the kill here in the mid lane. Yeah, you see Envy dashing forward again.
No.
Whoa! The pause comes out. Not sure what happened to Yuri there.
Kind of sus, gotta say, X-Men.
Little sus there. I don't think he meant to shuffle, but I don't think they're going to let him take it back. But we do have the pause coming through, and that will certainly change the course of this game. But I'm sure they are checking Yuri's mouse right now.
Check him PC. This is not normal. Anyway, no, that was a little bit of an unfortunate shuffle. I could imagine that he's complaining that his Q button didn't work or something along the lines.
Something like that.
We see some wild plays in the CBLOL, right? But that is definitely a little bit out there. So we'll get the pause underway. We'll see what the investigation kind of delivers afterwards. But other than that, let's get back to talking about these comps a little bit, because we already spoke about the junglers, but in general, how do you feel Furia's game plan is going to play out? Do you feel like this is a very early game-oriented snowbally comp, or do you feel like they are very content with starting to fight in the mid-game?
Well, the thing with playing through top is that you have to be comfortable with forcing the advantages you get in the top lane 2v2 onto the rest of the map, and that looks like how you transition into objectives. The biggest thing for this team is going to be Rift Herald at 8 minutes into the game. If they've translated those leads and have done their timing correctly, they should be on the map. It's 7 minutes, 30 seconds, walking up to the Rift Herald with all the items they just bought and trying to get that objective down, using that control of the bot side to control that area and control that power on Summoner's Rift. And once you have the Rift Herald in hand, it gets super easy for you. You just use it to accelerate your carries and continue pushing on and on. That's how this game should play out for them. You have the Scion, I would hope, roaming up. I think you might send the Senna up. I'm not really sure with the Senna Scion lane, but at least somebody is rotating up to cover mid while you make these Rift Herald plays, and that's how they should be playing this comp.
All right, we are back in the game. It seems like, well, Good and Envy.
That's unfortunate, man.
That's dirty. What?
That's really dirty. I thought the Lee St. Q just kind of hits him, but it did not. It went through him, and that's really unfortunate. Wow, they kind of handed them that one.
I didn't even realize Good was sitting in that brush until it was too late. I need a replay of that. Anyway, he goes for the gank on the top lane. That's some good damage on Lonely. He is forced out. Gets to keep his flash though, even if FMB has free reign over the lane now. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, it's good shove in from Raven and Guix, but quite honestly, this is really more or less exactly what we were expecting from this matchup, right?
I would say so. I would say so for sure. I don't think we talked about Kabum's subbed in bot lane because Duds the Boy is out, right? And he should be in. That's something maybe we should talk a little bit more about, but we're talking about it now. I'll tell
We
you
got all
that for
game.
sure. We do have all game. We got plenty of time. Scary standing on a ward here. It's not going to be too effective. But yeah, we have Raven and Duds. I would say, oh, here we go. No, it's going to be the dives.
Yep, Guix goes deep underneath the turret, will take one shot after the other, but Trigo and Ayu are doing a great job of kiting this out. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and here comes Good with the big cocoon. They pick up immediately the kill onto Scary and Raven. He's gonna try to work with the Rend. Good trying to kite it out. The spears run out, and this is gonna be it for the Kalista.
Wow.
Never mind, he gets over the wall, gets the Rend, and grabs the kill. The chop comes in, Ayu trades it back, it's a 2-for-2. How does a Raven pull profit out of that situation? Massive plays from the Kabum bot lane.
That was truly incredible, making it over the wall and getting the spears into Goods. We'll see the replay coming through here. This seemed ill-advised, the level 3 dive here onto Trigo. Gweegs went down super fast. That turret damage is no joke, but Goods here makes it a 2v2. Ayu, keep in mind, is the only survivor of this fight. But yeah, it looked doomed for Raven. I mean, Goot's still super healthy and all of that. And yeah, that's not even a flash. He just dashes with the auto attack passive over the wall there and is only later killed by Ayu's Q. Really, really nicely done. You look at the CS numbers here too. Kalista's up 10 CS onto Ayu. That's nicely done. Oh, now Yuri's going to taste the music here.
And we're not even done yet. Shuffle back into the turret, but the explosive shot lands, and that is an easy pickup. That's one of the cleaner dives I've seen in CBLOL so far. Very well done by Furia. They continue to bolster their lead.
Yeah, and that's the perfect play for Good to be making there, right? They're not necessarily playing through top here, but accelerating early, getting the dives through, utilizing the Elise. That's exactly how you want to play this composition. And I know they nerfed Elise recently here, Liffy, but it's more about the what Elise is trying to accomplish is so strong in the meta right now, more than the numbers for her, which is why she's still finding so much success.
The early pressure, you love to see it. Furia now up about 2,000 gold. That's a pretty substantial lead to have at 7 minutes. And of course, that's going to net you a few items. You already have the Spellpen boots on Good and makes contesting the early objectives a lot easier, right? In the meantime, we're going to fight in bot lane. Trigo gets chunked out quite nicely, but the return is still pretty decent. The Furia bot lane is starting to come into some power and fights back a little bit. But Mountain Drake is on the map. Herald is going to be spawning in the next minute or so. So we are slowly but surely transitioning over into these objective plays that you already mentioned earlier.
We certainly are here. There's deep vision being set up from Kabum, trying to keep tracking onto this Elise, which is what they want to happen. 7 minutes, 30 seconds. Where are we angling for in the map? It looks like Good is passing to the bot side, so I guess they're going to continue trying to play through the bottom side of the map here and get the gold on this Senna. It's top side 1v1. I think Lonely's okay here. He's just going to bump it away with the Dominus up, and he'll be fine. This Dragon is what they're playing for now, Liffy. Dragon stacking. I didn't really expect this.
Seems like it. And again, FMP just using up his ultimate, so he won't be that powerful in any of the upcoming fights. But, well, Good. Already back to the bot lane. River cleared out. Gary mirroring his pathing quite nicely, though, so he is in the area once a fight breaks out.
Yeah, he'll be ready to respond here. They're setting up the vision line now. Goot's done really well to break open his lanes. They're going to be 4 strong here, set up in the river, and able to start up the objective, healing up with the plants, all that good stuff. This should be the fight, Lithy.
This is gonna be nuts. IU is going in. The ult doesn't hit quite as expected, though. Here comes the Fate's Call. Nice knock-up. Griggs immediately gets exhausted. Envy goes deep. Explosive shot is in. The Emperor's Shuffle comes through. Good chunk onto 3 people. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but here come the resets. Envy on the hunt. The Rend is dangerous, though. Raven has some good damage still left to go. There, the Lee set comes in. He gets taken out before the Q connects with the follow-up damage. Good. Trying to get back in. Yuri down low on 100 HP. Here comes the repel, and the spider pounces on her prey. It's another kill for Furia.
Nicely done. Furia comes out on top at the end of this fight, Lithy. They will not be able to take the dragon in recompense here, but yeah, you're 4-0 on Envy now, and you're feeling really good going the rest of the game. Up 2,000 gold. Nice re-engage. I gotta say, the fight was looking hairy for them at the start, but they were able to round it out towards the back end. The re-engage there, Envy laying down the auto attacks. Good able to find the correct targets, and this team is going to do just fine in these team fights.
And look at the tempo they are putting on these Herald plays now.
Yeah, really nice here. See Trigo up top side, rotated up to help with that objective. And Goot's going to solo up the rest of it. Perhaps they just take this directly up top and try to get Lonely down. Lonely actually just going to take the reset, so.
I love this speed they are putting in onto this Herald play. Dragonfight 1? Alright. We'll just straight go for Herald because they are not contesting this right now. We'll pick that up, do whatever we want, and in the meantime, well, Kabum looking for a pick onto Envy. The Tibbers connects, but this is still a Tristana. There comes Yuri, has the dash to follow up. Does he have the damage, though? It doesn't look good. The last second stun gonna come through. Griggs with a beautiful, beautiful play. And Good, a little bit of a hairy situation. The Spider Repel does help out, and here comes the root from Trigo. This is gonna clean things up, but a beautiful pick here by Kabum, finally showing some initiative.
Really expertly done coming through from Goot, and able to get out of that situation. The death ball rolling through his own jungle. Unfortunate for Envy, gets caught up in it. And that's the power of the Annie, man. Can run you down, has the big ultimate, the big stun on top there. Yuri as well, able to be really super sticky onto the Tristana, and they get that kill. It's a good pickup. That's going to help them get back into this game for sure. And the big shutdown does go on to Yuri.
That is a pretty decent character to have the shutdown gold on. In the meantime,
Yeah.
FNB still fighting on top lane, but overall, I mean, we gotta get back to the gold diff here, right? No, never mind. We're heading into another dragon contest. Good priority on mid for Envy once again. Great work shoving out this mid lane and gaining control. And with this, that's a free mountain drake for Furia.
Yeah, super free for them here. It's the first dragon, so very, very slow, 12 minutes. I don't think they're going to be dragon stacking, really, which does, raise some questions about if they're accelerating this game fast enough. But the scaling from Kabum, not necessarily like crazy or anything, so I think they'll probably be fine. They're not playing through top like I had anticipated.
Ooh.
Oh, Trigo just super caught out.
Yeah, Griggs is very aggressive here. The jump in, the flash forward from Raven, beautifully done. Quick pick up on the kill. In the meantime, mid lane, Envy has some things to say about Scary's presence, and he doesn't want them there. As you can see, X-Men, Furia not really dragging this out.
Yeah, not dragging this out whatsoever. They're going to push down this middle lane, and they'll do that pretty handily here. Yuri, not really anything to say about this one. The structure damage from Tristana, like we talked about in the draft, is really shining through here. Now that they have this middle lane turret opened up, Tristana is a little bit more free to move around the map into the side lanes. They'll be able to crack down those towers as well.
And the best thing is you have an ADC that is on 5 kills, 120 CS by now. That you'll have, basically on your roster for the team fights. And that kind of completely makes up for the little bit lower powered Senna Scion bot lane in the early game, right? So I love how this draft for Furia is playing out, and ultimately, Kabum, they need to get a winter coat because this is getting chilly for them.
It's getting real chilly for them. I'll tell you what, you see the snow falling down, the ice forming on the windows, all that good stuff. They need to find a way to deal with the Annie ultimate, I would say. If you're Furia, I think the Annie ultimate has picked off enough of you at this point and given Kabum enough leeway that we need to have a conversation about getting picked off and setting up better vision as well, right? Because that's what is allowing Gweeks to make these plays. It's just coming in blind off of a corner, blind through a bush, something like that, and taking somebody down. It's a truly damning ability. You can't allow this to hit a carry out in the open. So want to make sure you're walking everywhere with a buddy and not getting picked off.
Exactly. On top of that, well, a lot of the gold lead that Furia has came from the turret platings, quite a number, 7 overall, that went over to our blue side team in this game. And from here on out, it is a lead of still roughly 2,000 they are taking into the mid game. We got a Hextech Drake spawning in about 2 minutes. We got the next Herald, I was going to say Baron almost, up in a minute 30. So that is going to be a little bit of a point of interest for the teams in the next few minutes. But outside of that, I think X-Men will really just daring down some tier 1 turrets, grab some of this standing gold that is left on the map, and Kabum, looking for some plays.
They're certainly looking for the plays here. It's going to be 4v2 bots, and they will be diving for this. Teleport.
Teleport comes in. This is going to be FMB. The knockups are in, and immediately Scary taken to the clean as FMB barely gets out with the dominance. The Tibbers follows up. The damage not quite enough. The Crocodile is going to say, see ya later. And Scary, the only one falling. Furia react beautifully to this catch attempt by Kabum. Oh no, never mind, this isn't over. Envy is trying to go in, gets punished on the attempt, and now comes the chase. Yuri still has some good damage, but Lonely is coming up on the back line as well. They are running for the hills, and with another center route, this is going to be all but done. Lucky Furia that they don't get punished for overstepping there.
Yeah, almost the perfect response, right? And they get Scary down, and they're all able to escape here. But yeah, a little hairy there in the back end, I will have to say. They will lose their turret down in the bottom lane here. Dragon is up in under a minute as well, so they don't have a great angle on that objective. But yeah, really nice TP from FMB, really nice response time from everybody, realizing that this was a doomsday scenario and that they had to make it happen. FMB teleporting on essentially the worst possible position for him to be and saying, nah, you know what, I have the experience, I have the know-how to know that this will end up working, even though it looks just so awful for me. You can't teach that, right? You can't coach it. You just have to learn it through raw stage experience. That's what FMB brings to the table.
Yeah. And especially if you have someone like Envy, who has a 75% win rate when he has a gold lead at 15 minutes, you just know that you can do some stuff that other people necessarily will not get away with. And, well, he is a fairly tanky Crocodile. Still missing his Mythic, though. A little bit down in CS, which is to be expected against the Jace lane. And then again, we're still talking about FMB. So we're kicking this game into higher gear slowly but surely after this pause.
Yeah, another pause drops here. They're playing this game, Furia are playing this game the opposite the way I thought they would. So they're not really giving FMB any of the resources, not really sending anything top up there. So he's a little bit slower than normally he would be. And the Renekton is not super strong. But once again, I think this is good for Furia. I don't think necessarily I would say FMB was the problem. I think that this team just needed something, a different way to play rather than just, we send everything top and hope FMB can hard carry us. I think that wasn't really working for them. So being able to say, yeah, you know what, Envy, you got the comm, man. You got all the resources, and Envy being able to pick that ball up and take it to the basket, I think is really important for this roster. And watching them execute on that is really good.
Absolutely. I wonder what's wrong. Got a little tech pause going on. We'll get that cleared up in just a second in the meantime. let's chat a
Yeah.
little bit more about all these fights attempts. I mean, it's typical CBLOL, right? That we're running this very brawly style of game. But it's starting to feel like we're hitting this point in the game where the Kalista bot lane is losing a little bit, hitting a little bit of a low on the power graph, while the Azir isn't quite up there yet to really contribute massive damage to the fight. So I'm not sure if Kabum is picking the right timings here.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. You can see the Kalista get some damage down if she gets like a considerable amount of time. But you're right, she's not shredding people like a Kalista should in an early game. Not that level of damage that really you'd expect because she's falling off. And yeah, absolutely correct with the Azir. Just not doesn't have the CS, doesn't have the damage out right now to be able to put out the big numbers. I think a lot of the team fights you're looking at big team fight. Ultimates coming through. The Annie ultimate's been super important. Almost killed FMB in that last fight. The Shuffle also nailing FMB as well. I think if those ultimates get onto the correct targets and aren't used up on the front line of Furia, then Kabum's going to have a much better team fight. Of course, the scaling, I think, is going to look good for Azir as well as we move forward into the game.
Yeah, and especially once Raven hits the second, the third item, right? This Kalista is gonna jump back into action pretty heavily. Overall, we're sitting at this kind of this one item mark at the moment at 18 minutes. Roughly 3k gold lead for Furia by now. It is starting to grow slowly but surely. But still, the second dragon went the way of Kabum, so no real dragon stacking possible for either team here. It's going to be a while before anyone hits soul point.
That certainly will be. That first one, the 12 minutes, yeah, like you were saying, just super late into this game. Second item completed here for Lonely. He's almost got it upgraded there as well. So potentially a big Jace play moving up in here. He does have a considerable amount of gold in hand and is pretty strong on the map. I don't think we've actually seen him be part of a team fight yet, so that could help Kabum out as well here as we push forward. Yuri
At latest
and
point, right,
Scary.
in the later stages of the mid game, when we get into late game, right, the long range damage that Azir and Jace can throw in, especially during these standoff moments before an objective, that can be a massive benefit to Kabum.
It can be, and it helps when you're pushing onto an objective too, right? Because you get the big artillery battery, like you were talking about, just sending damage down range, and that lets you push into objectives a lot more easily, which is something they're going to need being behind gold like they are at this point in the game. So that's going to help them out. Maybe turn things around here. FNB behind. I don't know if he goes to the play. We'll see.
Oh, he does.
Teleport.
Teleport comes in. This is a two-man gang. The Dominus already popped, and Envy comes in with a rocket jump. Oh. The Sentinel not quite connecting. Lonely gets out with the blast cone. Good reactions here from the Kabum top laner.
That would have been a really nice pick for him, right? I think if you're FMB, you try and use that blast cone. Because you have to imagine that's going to be the escape tool for him before you go for that play. So just a little maybe mental error, maybe something they forgot about, but still very close, right? And Envy likely saying in his air, "Hey, I've got the damage," and he almost did. So it's close,
Yeah.
close enough.
Well, they
for
did
them there.
trade this flash on the
Wow.
Jace, and they are immediately pulling the trigger on this Baron play. There is no vision. Kabum is aware that it is most likely happening. And they are collapsing on in. Furia needs to turn tail and run to not throw the game.
Yeah, they're gonna start the Baron up briefly. Okay, they do have double marksman, so maybe that was just the call that came down. But starting it on spawn, I think, is a little, maybe a little ambitious for them there. Yeah, a little bold for them.
I'll be very honest with you, Axeman. If this Scuttle Crab wasn't there and had spotted them on the attempt, I think Furia would have gotten away with it.
I think they certainly would have gotten a lot further too, and it might have come to blows here. But yeah, having to walk over the Scuttle Crab, essentially just, everyone knows that you're going to start it up. And then not having tracking on anybody on the map suddenly was a little spooky for Furia there as well. So they're going to back off for the time being, which is perfectly fine, right? Like, no one needs the Baron at 20 minutes in the game. But if you could steal it, it'd be nice.
Yeah. No, it's definitely important that Kabum caught this. I mean, they are on this 5-game losing streak, and they need to kind of turn the tides of their season a little bit, as Ayu is looking for a little bit of an engage. FNB now rolling in. The Scion is incredibly tanky, and Kabum couldn't quite chunk through it. Now finally, Lonely arriving in time for a fight, but it's not really breaking out. Dragon up in 40 seconds. This is a very, very early skirmish for an objective.
Certainly is here. FME's going to blow the Dominus before the fight. He's not super impactful, so that's not the worst thing. Really be looking out for some of the other ultimates throughout the carries there for Furia. No really big team fight ultimates for them. So that is something.
Oh, Scary kicks out. Are you trying to make something work here? This turret is about to fall. Great pressure on this mid lane from Kabum, but Furia in the meantime, they are aware that stalling this out is completely fine because Envy is taking down the tier 2 top turret and will need to be answered immediately. Otherwise, this base is gonna turn into rubble in no time. Raven looking for an engage, but this is a 4v2. This is incredibly risky to go for. Meanwhile, everyone collapsing in on Envy and they're going for this inhibitor turret. FNB looking for the dive on Lonely.
Yeah, looking for the dive potentially. They're going to rotate up and support Envy's escape. Really nice play. The resets coming out for Kabum. I don't know, man. I mean, you got Dragon coming up. You could always just walk up to Envy too, and just allowing Furia full access to your middle lane and full map control around the top side of the map. I don't know if that was necessarily what you want to do. They're going to take all the jungle camps out of the top side. They're going to establish a vision control line, and that gives them a really nice angle onto Baron. For just one dragon, only your second dragon.
Indeed. It's an interesting trade to make. Let's see if it pays off later. For now, Kabum at least secure the second dragon, the first Infernal, and this is going to give them some much needed damage, some stats. Especially now that Raven finally hit his second item. We're still waiting on the second item for Yuri. But we can already see, like, at the standoff before these fights, right? The poke that is coming in from Yuri and Lonely is pretty substantial.
No, it really is. And the damage coming out at range there, too. This is the first reset for Envy after a while of split pushing, so they should get a considerable item advantage here, even though they're already on one. So, yeah, half an item purchased straight up there. Caulfield's Warhammer, the pickaxe. That's a lot of bonus damage here coming out for Envy. And going into the fight, that's pretty good stuff.
Indeed it is. 2 items to Tristana, anything but harmless. But we're really hitting, I think it really feels like we're hitting a breaking point of this game, right? One more team fight, gonna make or break it for Kabum.
Could be, yeah. The way they're pushing out the waves here for Furia as well is super important for them. If you keep that top lane turret pushed in, you see the bot lane wave pushed in here as well. That gives you an avenue to push once you do secure the Baron. Looks like they're giving control of the topside river up, and they're instead just looking to push.
You got FNB in the bot lane, now Envy joining him. This could be a play at a dive here. Lonely is very much aware of it, and as a response, Kabum immediately pull the trigger on the Baron. This is going to be a little bit risky with Good in the area. We might be looking at a little bit of a smite fight, but Envy rejoins, Kabum turns tail, and FNB gets caught out by Lonely. The 1v1 underway. This chase has some solid damage. Get the crocodile out. Some new shoes for Lonely, and a 1v1.
And that creates a 5v4 across Summoner's Rift, right? With Lonely having the teleport in hand, could have used it to join a potential fight. Instead, it's just going to walk over and create this 5v4 naturally. There really isn't a way for Fury to get into the pit. And with the Callista, it gets very difficult for the smite fight there, too.
Tibbers comes out. Envy needs to turn tail. The rocket jump is out. Ayu is in the front line trying to tank up all this damage. Envy looking for an angle into the fight, but the Rend takes out the Scion. Kabum turned tail. They got the kill they wanted. The Baron is cancelled. And this is a benefit they were looking to gain, even if the play wasn't perfect.
Certainly, they take Ayu down, get a little bit of gold back in their pockets, right? And 4K is the difference between these two teams. And yeah, Kabum looking a lot better than they have for the rest of this game here. They will be looking for the Baron pushing in forward, but Yeah, looking a lot better. The Callista with some of the gold under their wings as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
The 2.5 item Callista, the strongest member of their team right now, and hopefully they can get the auto attacks through.
I am starting to get worried about these side lanes for Furia, right? Because we just saw FMB, once he gets into a 1v1 with Lonely, he is outgunned massively. And especially with more of these standing golds going back into the pockets of Kabum, the gold lead is consistently shrinking. We went from 5k to now barely 3,500 gold. It's a great comeback run here from Kabum over the last few minutes.
No, it really has been, and they still got a little ways to go here, but they have the tools in hand to get the victory and get the success through. Just got to keep playing the macro game at a good level. Get the picks down if you can. Playing for picks is huge for this team. The Lee Sin kick, the anti-ultimate, all that good stuff. Got to find somebody alone, take them down.
Yep. Especially now the third item coming in for Raven. The Soreldas for Lonely. This Jace is disgustingly massive.
Yeah,
and we
very
talked about
strong.
This game coming to a breaking point, right? Kabum found the really, really important place. It wasn't quite as explosive as I would have expected, but they are definitely in a position of power. They got the pedal to the metal at the moment, and they're making it work down the middle. FMB, though, looking for a flank. There's the Shurelius. They want to punish him immediately.
Do want to punish for that for sure. IU taking some damage, but he's going to be okay. Keep in mind, IU gets out too far. They're just going to burst him down, so be on the lookout for that. Here's the fight.
There it is. This is the Tibbers flash forward. It's going to be the shuffle back into the team, but the Scion is so tanky. He is only down to half. FMB gets kicked out. The disengage is good, but Yuri already down to 10%. There goes Scary Deep with Lonely. They get 2 quick kills, and immediately Kabum is rolling this fight. Beautifully done, and they turn tails immediately for the Baron.
They're going to be able to take it down in record time here as well with the Callista. Should be shredding through this objective. Get that down quick, start pushing out the lanes, start scaling up even further here, making the comeback. If they can get this power play into a position where they get the gold back even, that'll be huge for them here. But yeah, really nicely done. Excellent play for them. They are going to lose this dragon on the bot side, but that's just fine. We have split dragons across the rift.
Good reply here from Furia, trying to pull anything from the rubble of their attempts just now. But overall, the turning point has come. The gold lead is down to 2,000 for Furia right now, and it does not look like it's getting any better anytime soon. Let's look at this fight again here.
Yeah, essentially exactly what I said was going to happen, right? They're going to pick out IU, steps out too far, and try and burst them down. And FMB with another killer teleport, right? Directly into the enemy team. They will lose their carry to FMB there, unfortunately. But yeah, as you just get the damage down, Lonely's able to get some space and able to lay that damage out from range. Same thing with Raven. You just hit the auto attacks from range and are allowed to free hit, and you will win these team fights.
And it feels like it is mainly the Jace damage that Furia does not have an answer to at the moment. In the meantime, Kabum running it down mid. It's ARAM time, and they do have the poke, they have the damage, and first and foremost, they have the Baron buff. Still, Furia is an opponent you have to pay your respects to, so they're not overstepping, they're being careful, waiting for the next wave. And of course, well, you gotta manage your side waves as well. It is Yuri looking for a bot lane shove.
It sure is here. Gweegs is looking for a killer death bush to sit in, and he has found one.
Yep.
Scary and Raven potentially in trouble. There's 3 members of Furia waiting in this jungle for them.
A little bit of a risky spot to be in, but the vision line is being pushed deep into Furia's jungle. Kabum doing a great job of managing that here at the moment. And with that, The tier 2 on bot lane, currently undefended, might actually fall. Furia quickly trying to collapse on in, and Kabum hard committing on this. It's a 4v5 that they are taking head on. Here comes the TP from Lonely a little bit late, but Furia already on the run. This Sion Older out, and there comes the shuffle. Yuri with the massive plays, double kill, served on a silver platter for his team. The support going ham. IU in the backline trying to make something work, punishes Yuri, but it is a beautiful steamroller from Kabum.
Really nicely done, right? They went from being behind gold to being up gold. They may even try to end the game now, Lithy. This is incredible. We were not expecting this. They'll take the inhib. Looks like they'll back off for the time being with Good and Envy on the reset here. But yeah, another big win for them, and it will leave them in control of the map with the gold lead. Really incredible play.
It's been almost 3 weeks since the last time Kabum was able to win a game. 5 in a row they've lost, and it finally looks like they found a way back into this season. This is
here's the replay.
Good hopes for Kabum, man. Look at this fight
it is
again.
good. They need this win, right? They need it desperately, but yeah, they're picking off IU here at the front. They do get the damage down onto him. Big shuffle, though. And that is what is going to change the fight for them here. Lonely, able to free hit on the sides, given a lot of that good space that he needs. Gets the damage down. That's what you want, right? Picking up that front line. Scary finds FMB.
Oh, the shuffle this time around misses. Can't hit all of them, Yuri, even if he is going for it. But it is interesting to see how committed Furia was to stopping that tier 2 push. And then they realize this is a 4v5 and they can't even win that, and they turn tails and they get punished for it.
Do get punished for it there, so interesting stuff to be sure. But yeah. I like the play from there. FMB able to get out, which is cool. Dragon spawning now in Summoner's Rift. This could be a pivotal one. This gives the owner a little bit more control over the Rift as you move into the Dragon Soul Point question. But by the time we start talking about that 4th Dragon, it will be very late in the game, right? And it might not actually be worth it to push for that. If a team does establish a lead, I think you're going to want to avoid the Dragon just to not bring the Elder Dragon up. But yeah, that's something we could potentially see. I will say, as we get in the super late game, you'll see Scary go from fallen off to like a truly useless Lee Sin, right? And that super late game.
Yeah.
We get the 5-man death ball. This is gonna be a fight.
Yep, that's the catch on to Scary. Lonely going in for some good damage, but immediately Envy gets the first kill and the resets. Here comes Yuri. The shuffle does only hit FMB, but the Crocodile is done, and the Callista still free hitting. IU in the front line. Yuri finally traded out. It's a 3v4. Raven managing to bounce and pounce around the sides. Envy with some good damage, but gets killed off by Lonely. It's a slugfest of a team fight here, and ultimately it's going to be a 2-4-2 traded out with the big carries on both sides being dead.
Yeah, and Furia does have the health bar advantage, right? But they got to walk into this bush.
Oh no, they get the re-engage. IU immediately gets exploded, but Queeks, the shield coming through last second. Still good, looking for the follow-up. Raven just bouncing around the Sion passive. No threat to him. The plays on this ADC are a joy to watch. And this Dragon is gonna be free to boot. Nexus turret might fall to the super minions. It's a cross the board win for Kabum.
Yeah, incredible from Kabum. How poetic is it that this bot lane, the new bot lane they've put in, is what's winning the game here now. 7-1 and 7 there for Raven. He picks up the Dragon. And, of course, they do lose the Nexus turret as well, just like you mentioned there, Lithy. Incredible play. I mean, Gweeks laid down so much damage with the ultimate, was able to accomplish so much with it. Once they lost Yuri in that fight, it looked rough. It seemed like Envy was going to be able to tear this team apart, but Lonely, Raven, they're able to get the damage down onto the Tristana and change the course of that fight. They sit in the bush, re-engage, really nice fight there from them, and they're going to start the Baron almost immediately. The tempo, like you talked about, Lithy, they'll get that down without any contest.
Even waiting for Lonely to respawn, a little bit of hesitation for the last few seconds of Jace's death timer. Now a 5-man Baroned up Kabum, once again knocking at the doors of Furia. 3,000 gold in the lead by now. And look at this gold graph. Speak of the devil, that is a beautiful story of a comeback since the 25th minute for Kabum.
Oh yeah, really good stuff from them, and again, exactly what they needed after such a long loss streak and spending so long at the bottom of the table down there with Keystars, and this is what they need to get back into the split, what they need to get back into the playoff conversation, and it's going super well for them, man. I hope they can close out. This is a great story for Kabum.
It is not over yet, though. We gotta talk about the threats on the other side for a second here, right? Because Good is still in the game, so is Envy, first and foremost. That's a 4-item Tristana, and if he gets to hit the right targets at the start of the fight, if they find Raven or Lonely early, this might look very, very bad for Kabum.
Could potentially, right? I mean, Good able to get on your backline super easily, and Trigo laying down damage from extreme range there.
And here
Envy
comes
as well.
the Scion ult. Scary already chunked down to half. Envy can free hit this Lee Sin. Has a stopwatch, luckily. And from the side, now comes in Lonely, forcing back Furia. We're not gonna get the banger fight I was hoping for. And the threat is just mounting. The inhibitor turrets are gonna start falling left, right, and center. Lonely looking for the 1v1. Gets outplayed. Doesn't die, though. Gets out
That's
with
close.
a sliver of health, but Furia now can look for the re-engage with FNB teleporting in for the flank, dashing in, doesn't find the stun, but the shuffle is good. Yuri forced into the stopwatch, back comes Lonely. Trigo already taken down, and Envy in the front line. He needs to be careful with all these Kalista spears sticking out of his chest. Kabum, find a reset, find a re-engage, and find the fight.
Do find the fight. Can they push for the end, though? They have tons of damage in their hands. Envy's here to defend.
It's only one Nexus turret. That one is gone. The IU is the only one standing in this front line. Maybe Envy can do it. He is all by himself on the damage side of things and is free-hitting for a second at least until it is Raven swooping in like a bird of prey and grabbing the win for Kabum.
It's a massive play from Raven there. Picks up 4 additional kills on